Hello, beautiful beings. Today's subject is shadow work. I know that that is not everybody's favorite subject, and it happens to be something that's very near and dear to my heart. Not only helping others with their shadow work, but doing my own. And I know that that is not typical, right? It might have something to do with the fact that I have Pluto, the planet of mystery, illusions, psychology, hidden aspects in my 12th house, which is hidden aspects, spirituality, illusions, and psychology. And having that in my natal birth chart might be one of the reasons why I love poking in that area so much. But as I said, most people don't. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about shadow work today because there's a lot of misconceptions around it and what it even is. So I know I've talked about this before, but I have new people here and always adding a little bit to the information that we have already acquired. So shadow work is the work where we look, at the unconscious, hidden aspects of who we are that do not align with the ideal representation of the ego. So whatever the ego thinks doesn't fit, those aspects that we've denied, hidden, repressed, that is the shadow. And so when we're doing shadow work, what we're doing is we're looking at all the aspects of us, even the hidden ones, in order that we can integrate them into our experience. Most people think that the shadow is just this dark, scary, evil place. And for the vast majority of people, you are going to bump into flaws, weaknesses, and a little bit of our dark side there. But there are also many, many powerful gifts that are in the shadow, right? They are things that we've been told from a really young age that maybe weren't appropriate. And the reasons for that could have been somebody was simply jealous, and so we believed that that wasn't a good aspect, so we hide it over there. Now, there is a lot of misconception that the more enlightened, sorry, it's very hot here, my hair is sticking to my forehead. The more enlightened, awakened, or aware we become, the less of the shadow work we'd have to do. And that is an illusion that is fed by the ego, because in that place where we are doing the work, it is very easy and very common to excel in growth in certain areas and aspects. We might even uncover beautiful gifts and might seem in many ways enlightened. And yet at the same time, we have aspects of our experience that are being run on autopilot. And it is the unconscious shadow that is running that aspect of our life. We can have both. And when we think of shadow, a shadow is that dark area that is between a surface and the rays of light, right? So when we're thinking about shadow work, we're working in that dark area that hasn't really seen the light. And it's interesting because we think of people who have expanded their consciousness as being enlightened, so closer to the light, right? When we think about a shadow, the closer an object gets to the light source or the sun, the longer the shadow is. Just think about that for a moment. So the more enlightened we become, the more we're asked to look deeper into aspects that we didn't want to look into at the beginning. Now someone might say, oh, isn't it easier just not to do the work and then our shadow would be this small? Well, that is true. But we wouldn't have the experience of the expanded consciousness either. And so the more work we do, the deeper we're going to have to go in our shadow work. And until we become the light source, the sun, or we completely envelop the sun by becoming one being connected to our authentic self, we will always have to do the shadow work. And the beautiful thing is I've used the analogy of an onion many times too, right? There's many layers to an onion. And as we start peeling it, you know, the deeper we get, the more uncomfortable things become, right? Just think of an onion. When you start peeling it, that first layer isn't quite so stinky, but the deeper you go, the more uncomfortable it becomes because that smell is intense, and then you start to tear up, right? And the reason that happens is because there are sulfur compounds within an onion. And the closer we get to the center, the more intense we will experience those sulfur compounds because they are most concentrated at the center. So too, when we're doing shadow work, the more we become enlightened in certain areas, the deeper we are asked to go into the unconscious, into the ego, and not to destroy it, but to integrate it, to accept it, to nurture it, so that we can eventually become one with the sun. We can be that light source to everyone and everything. I thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, a like, a share, and if you'd like to hear more, please don't forget to subscribe. I truly do appreciate all of your support. And if you would like to discover more about what shadow work really entails, or you would like somebody to work with you in that journey of discovering your shadows and peeling back the layers, my contact information is below. And until we speak again, please be well.